Steve, such outstanding career, a leader, an executive in an industry, and an inspiration for many. We're gonna get deeper into that in just a little bit. We have some inside information from some of the people that you have touched over the years with some specifics, right? It's nothing tricky, but it's just something that I'm sure that you will enjoy hearing from some of your previous employees, some of your previous team members. But first of all, I wanted to ask you, would you share with us some of the most important lessons you've learned from your leadership journey?
Most of the lessons I've learned have come the hard way. I've made a lot of mistakes. I started in this business right out of coaching college football at the University of Utah. I didn't know a lot about business. So a lot of the mistakes I made were life lessons to me. And the number one lesson that I've learned, and I think Chris mentioned it at the very beginning, is humility and being humble. I think that's the number one trait or the number one characteristics of a leader. I don't know if that makes him a good leader, but I think it's important as a leader. And I learned this while I was coaching college football. I came home one night and my wife sat me down at the kitchen table and she says, "This has been fun. It's been real fun, but I no longer want to be a part of it." And she wanted to divorce me. And I asked why. And she said, "You're not the same person that I married, and you've lost some of that personal touch, that humility." And so that night we sat down and she listed all the things, a mile long of the things that I need to improve on. And I listed a couple of things that she might do a little bit better. But it was a real life lesson to me to really look at myself from an introspective perspective and say, to really get and touch people, I think you've got to be humble. And the second, I think, is being transparent and authentic. Let people see you as who you are. No matter what your position, no matter the title, be the person that you are. I think people recognize authenticity. I think they appreciate authenticity. I think they open up authenticity. I think they're more open at the table. I think they're open to discussions when there's transparency and there's authenticity associated with that. And the third lesson I learned was how to listen. My wife says I don't, but I try very, very hard to have an open mind when I'm listening, and more importantly, from an emotional standpoint, have an open heart. It really hit home to me on this authenticity perspective is when I had an opportunity of coaching with a great coach at a great university in Nebraska. I was at a clinic that he asked me to coach at, and boy, I was on the field and I was screaming and yelling and I was doing everything that I thought a coach should do. And after the practice, the coach came, put his arm up around my shoulders, and he says, "Who were you today?" And I said, "I'm Steve Hallsey." He says, "No, you were coaching like somebody you have seen, but that wasn't Steve Hallsey. Be Steve Hallsey. Be who you are." And that led to me listening. I learned, you better listen. You better listen to the criticism. You better listen to what people are saying, or you're going to disconnect from those people. And the next is collaboration. I think a leader, whether a good leader or a bad leader, is to collaborate, listen to people, give everybody a seat at the table so that their voices are being heard and that they feel like they're contributing to the process. And the next lesson is communication. The Harvard Business Review says that the ability to communicate effectively, getting your message across clearly and concisely, is more important than an education, and it's more important than your experience if you want to move up the chain. And the ability of learning how to communicate has always been a focus of mine. The people that I've associated with, I've really tried to promote that ability to communicate. I would say the next element that I've learned, once again, I took away from coaching, and that's the ability to motivate people to do their very best. I had an opportunity, once again, coaching with one of the greatest coaches of all time in a postseason game, and we were sitting at a dinner table. I said, "Coach, you've won a national championship in every decade you've coached." I said, "How have you done that? How have you been able to motivate these young minds, these young people to do it every year?" And he goes, "You can talk about money, and that'll last till they spend it. You can talk about trophies and awards, and that'll last till they get dusty. He said the only way you can truly motivate people is to teach them how they fit in. If you can teach every one of your associates where they fit into the organization, what they contribute, how they contribute, you are truly motivating people. And that was a big lesson for me, is that it's my responsibility to teach that person where they fit in, where they, and how they belong. And I would say the next one is execution. One thing that I learned is everybody in this industry knows the fundamentals of this business. And same thing in coaching. Everybody knows the X's and O's. But the truly great ones, the people that achieve more, the people that are constantly winning championships, companies that are constantly winning awards, are those that execute exceptionally well on their strategy. They know their strategy, they execute on that strategy, and they make execution a key part of their basic operating philosophy. And so I would say, Adrian, those are the 7 lessons I've learned. They probably don't apply to anyone else on this call, but those were all very tough lessons I had to learn and be a part of.